Hello, everybody. I'm happy to see that you have made it to the correct page to re-access the directions for today's assignment that were discussed in our last class. I just want to spend a couple of minutes reminding you of your task for today to make sure that everyone is clear on what is expected of them and so that you will be prepared for class on Monday. So I'm going to go through these written instructions and they will be here for you as a reference if you need them throughout the class. First of all, it's important that we're going to go over everything that's on this page before you get started. So first of all, today you're going to need a pencil, colored pencils, your digital science notebook, and your research notebook. You don't have to gather those materials yet. Let's wait until we're finished going over the instructions and then you'll get started. So the first thing you're going to be doing today is re-accessing your digital science notebook, and that should be bookmarked somewhere on your computer. So when you get to your digital science notebook, you are going to re-access activity 1, in which we were working on in our last class, remembering that we are completing part 4 right now, which is going to be your research notebook illustration. Now in class, we already added this to our table of contents and you already added the title to page 1. You are going to be starting with part B today, okay? So remember that part B, you are being asked to creatively illustrate or depict the hierarchy of the universe with the major components by size. So, I want to just give you a couple of reminders on how to successfully do this. So first of all, you'll start by choosing the subject or the object that you are going to use. I want you to notice over here, if you click on this website, there are many ideas that you could use for cone-shaped or triangular objects. There are also some listed on the board that your 6th grade peers brainstormed. Remember that I chose to do a slice of pizza. I have labeled my universe as the largest part of my pizza. I accurately labeled the systems in between, and the planet is the smallest because of those objects. They are the smallest objects in our universe. I also want to remind you to not forget that your definitions of each of these words should be on the page as well. And they should be either written neatly or remember you can type them out. And if you need to be reminded of where you can find the definitions, they are right here in your notebook in part 2 vocabulary. I want you all to notice there is one last step that should be completed on page 1 in your research notebook. So be careful to follow all of the directions, and it is step C. It says, under your illustration, record one sentence telling me either something new you learned, something that surprised you, or a question you have about any of the topics that were discussed in activity 1. This can even go back to the video that we watched in our last class. So, a couple of reminders. Please, in your research notebooks, be neat and creative and organized. And I would like you to think of something other than a slice of pizza if you can, and to use the website for other ideas. So how will you get full credit for this assignment? When you believe that you're finished, you should ask yourself these questions. First of all, does your image show a change in size from big to small or small to big? Did you correctly label the 5 components according to size? And what I mean by that is where you label your planet, that should be the smallest part of your diagram. Do you have the definitions of the vocabulary words on page 1? And lastly, did you complete the final step, step C, which is asking you to record one sentence telling me something you learned that you're surprised by, or another curiosity you have based on what we've talked about. I also want to remind you that whatever is not done in class today is homework. So therefore, if you do not finish this in class today, you're going to have to take your research notebook home. If you are in A or C block, this is due when we meet on Monday at the start of class. And if you're in E block, this is due on when you get to class on Tuesday. So I want to lastly remind you that you may print the definitions out if you would rather do that as opposed to handwrite them. However, please don't spend the class trying to get connected to a printer. If you are not connected to the BDC second floor printer yet, you may either have to ask a friend in class to help you print yours, or you may just have to handwrite them. I want to stress that it's really important that when you get to class on Monday, your notebook looks something like this, although your drawing might be a little better than mine, and it is complete, okay? I will not be giving passes for not having this homework done because I want you to notice that I have already placed it on the haiku calendar for you. Okay? Hierarchy illustration is due on Monday for everyone except for E block because E block does not meet until Tuesday. Okay, everyone. So that is all I have for you. And give me 1 second to get back to the page. Okay. If you have any questions while you're working today, ask a friend, ask your substitute teacher, or please email me. I will be available by email all day today. I will miss you all. Have a great weekend, and I will see you next week.